Hi everyone, I'm back. We're here to talk about anxiety. It's an overlooked shadow and it can really impact your life and your business in a negative way. So let's get started. All right, so here we go. In the face of a fast-paced and demanding world, many of us live in the shadow of anxiety. And so to overcome that, there are many tools that you can do, strategies that you can implement within yourself and in your workplace. And so we're going to talk about all of that today on how to reduce anxiety and how it's actually affecting you. So let's get started. Alrighty, guys. So for many individuals, they get occasional bouts of anxiety. It's not really a big deal. It's normal. It's normal. We all get a little bit. But when anxiety becomes a huge issue, when it starts to affect your personal life, your business life, and everything in between, well, now is when you need to seek some help. It's affecting business. It's affecting everything, guys. And so it's not something you can overlook. It's profound. Anxiety is a multifaceted mental health condition. What does that mean, you ask? Well, it means it can manifest in different forms and intensity for everybody, right? And so what I feel for anxiety and how I display it won't be the same as you or the person next to you or any of that stuff. Is going to be a bit different for everybody. I know when I get anxiety, I start crying and I get the no mindset. Like, no, I'm not going to do it. And I just, right? I dig in. But not everybody shows anxiety in that way, right? Hi, Nasheed. Nice to have you here. So yeah, anxiety is different for everybody, but it's multifaceted. And it presents in a wide array of symptoms, ranging from constant worry, restlessness, panic attacks, maybe some sleep disturbances, that sort of stuff. And despite its prevalence, anxiety is often misunderstood and underestimated. And so when it affects your life, it actually just doesn't affect your private life. It affects everything, including business. So what you're suffering from in here goes out in a ripple effect to the entire freaking world. And your anxiety, actually, that energy, other people around you start to pick up on it. I know if I'm around anxious people, I need to leave because I start to feel anxious because I'm an empath and I absorb. So I need to leave. So your anxiety, your depression, anything you're feeling, anger even, other people tend to absorb it. Watch when you go out into the universe, out into the world, how people react when you're anxious. They also become a little anxious. Most people do. You always find that one person who can stay calm through anything, and that's a person I want to learn from. Hey, Doogie, how's it going? Thanks for joining today. We're talking about anxiety, Doug. So first and foremost, guys, anxiety can significantly affect an individual's personal life. Okay, so that constant state of worry and unease can impair your relationships. It's going to lead to stressful connections within your family, your friends, anyone you love, and especially at work, right? And so you're going to end up with social isolation in the end, because that turns to be one of the coping, hi Doug, it tends to be one of the coping mechanisms, right? And so when you're hiding from your anxiety, you tend to hide from everyone around you. It's safer, it feels better. And that convinces that individual that they are then without love around them. And then they become even more anxious, right? And so that it becomes easier and easier to withdraw in the face of all social interactions at that point. And ultimately, this leads to a huge sense of isolation within that person. And, it exacerbates that anxiety. It makes it even worse. And then it gets their life on that roller coaster, of symptoms. And then boom, it all just gets worse, right? So we have a lot of clients right now who come to us who have been stuck in their house for years, and that's not a good thing to be. I was there actually when I started rapid transformational therapy. I was also stuck because I had PTSD from an abusive relationship, and I was afraid to go out because I was afraid I was going to be murdered. The reality is, no, I wasn't going to be murdered, but that was the fear in my head, right? And so these are the things you have to get rid of. It led to great anxiety, and I never wanted to leave. I'd go 3, 4, 5 weeks sometimes without even leaving my house. The only time I'd leave is if somebody forced me to get out. We have lots of clients going through that, and we help them. One of our clients actually that we saw, she lived in she lived in the UK when I met her. And she had been stuck in her house with agoraphobia for 3 years. and it was a severe anxiety that had been building over her lifetime. And so with that anxiety, she had gone to many therapists, many doctors. She'd gone to 5 therapists, in fact. And none of them worked. And in fact, they all exacerbated the anxiety, because each time you don't fix it, guess what gets worse? Your anxiety. And it's going to get worse. So it's the same with depression. If you don't fix it the first time, people just get more depressed, more down on themselves, right? And so when you go to a therapist and they're not working it out, or taking forever to get to that root cause, well, you get down on yourself even more. And so she ended up at the point when I met her that she was stuck in her house. So we did her therapy session with her. And we only did one. And that's not true for everyone that they need one, but this particular lady, we did one. And I thought she was going to be with me for a little bit of a haul, because it was pretty severe. But when we went in and we figured out what was wrong with her, it turned out that this woman had a great life. Her entire family loved her. They always hugged her and kissed her and said, "I loved you." She was always supported, always filled with, embraces and everything she needed in life. So why was she feeling anxious and depressed and always crying? Why? Well, it was because when she was just a wee little thing, maybe 2 or 3 years old, she had run out into the street and nearly got hit by a car. And the fear she felt in that moment stuck. And then when she looked at her parents, the anxiety and their fear stuck. And so she was in fight or flight. She stayed in fight or flight for the rest of her life, because she was so young. Her parents didn't know that they had to help her out of that. All they did is hug her, love her, and take her away. And so she stayed terrified. And from that moment forward, she remained terrified of life, terrified of everything, terrified of her ability to make decisions. Hi, Natasha. Hi, Vanessa. Hi, everybody. Thanks for joining. Right? And so when you become frightened inside, when you have that self-doubt, it leads to great anxiety. And so oftentimes anxiety isn't the cause, it's the symptom. And so that's what we do. We go to the root cause. And that's what I did for her. I went to her root cause. When we found that out, we just changed the meaning for her. We changed everything in her mind. We transformed her belief system. And 8 weeks later, I got a letter from her saying, "Thank you very much. I'm now living my best life in Spain." Guys, she's living her best life in Spain. I couldn't believe it. Why? Because we got to the root issue of her, and now anxiety disappeared instantly for her. Instantly. And we could do that for you too. That's what this is about. You don't need to live under that shadow of anxiety ever. Because the toll of anxiety, guys, guess what it starts to do on a business? Never mind your own personal life, okay? So now you're bringing that into work. Now, when you bring that into work, don't underestimate the power of how you can take down a company with that, okay? Entrepreneurs I'm having a hard time talking. Let's put some juice in my mouth. Hang on. Entrepreneurs and business people, professionals, striving for success often face immense pressure and you know what? They have to make high stakes decisions, right? And so that's stressful. That's super anxiety situations. And so left unchecked, guess what? That infiltrates all the domains, and it undermines all of your promising ventures, because that anxiety gets felt by both the individual, the client, and all of the staff around. And nobody wants to work with somebody with anxiety. And also it's going to prevent you from taking risks. So the anxiety itself is going to hamper decision-making, right? Because you're going to be too anxious. Hamper decision-making. It hampers creativity and innovation as well. That anxiety-induced fear also is that fear of risk-taking, right? And so it's going to limit your ability to think outside of the box, which means your staff aren't bringing you their best work. Why? Because they're thinking within the box. They can't think outside of that. They're so frightened and fearful that they'll never bring you anything new and innovative. You'll have the same old, same old. Your business will become stagnant. You'll fall behind. And that's the death. So the fear of judgment, guys, also in perfectionism, that also is fueled by anxiety and also impedes the progress of all business. It impedes the networking ability within the company itself. Networking as far as opportunities go, they can't go out and find new opportunities. They can't find new learning lessons within the company because their anxiety is so high. It impedes the progress. It hinders networking everywhere, and your business will not grow. So anxiety impacts on productivity shall never be overlooked because it's going to affect it. You get those racing thoughts, the constant worry that's consuming valuable mental resources that could be used for strategical thinking instead, or problem solving for your company, right? So anxiety actually tightens the grip, and it becomes increasingly challenging to focus on tasks at hand, and it leads to procrastination and a decline in your productivity all of a sudden, right? And so this in turn will affect the career advancement of each individual. It's going to hinder professional development, and it's going to potentially even jeopardize job security for that individual and for the business itself as well. Hi, Esther. Nice to see you here. So guys, we're talking about anxiety. If anybody's got questions, feel free to ask those questions. Right now, we're talking about how anxiety impedes the workplace. So anxiety, it's a formidable force. It's capable of wreaking havoc in every aspect of everyone's lives, right? So especially business, but what you have at home comes into business. What you suffer at work goes to home. So no matter what, you need to deal with that anxiety, right? Recognizing it is detrimental. It's detrimental to that anxiety, and seeking support and fixing and finding coping mechanisms is vital. It's absolutely vital. So by fostering mental well-being and promoting and, cultivating an empathic workplace, you can actually create an environment that supports and uplifts all of the staff. And it's going to actually reduce their anxiety. So let's talk a bit about some of the strategies we can use. I'm going to tell you my best strategy because it's the one I use. It's the only one that worked for me. I did all those other ones, and guess who still suffered anxiety? This cookie right here. So this is one we did. Rapid transformational therapy. That's what we did. Rapid transformational therapy is different. It's different than all other therapies, guys. And I'm excited to tell you all about that. Because guess what? While anxiety is a huge shadow, it's no shadow that rapid transformational therapy can't shine a freaking light on. You guys, it's a game changer, right? It's something that came from Marissa Peer. She's from the UK. She introduced this system. She created it. It's a mix of cognitive behavioral therapy, neurolinguistic programming, psychotherapy, and hypnotherapy. And you know what? It's basically therapy on steroids. If you want to know the truth, it's therapy on steroids. And what it does is it goes directly to the root cause of your issue, and it does it fast. Within our first 3-hour session, we're already there. We've already figured it out. You'll never get that from any other therapist on the planet. Only rapid transformational therapists can get you to the root cause of your issue within that first 3 hours, within that first day. And we also transform your issue. We help you to understand everything. We transform you, and you actually come out the other side changed within 3 hours. 3 hours. Other places don't do that. Other places, they'll do your hypnotherapy session. They'll get you in, they'll start your change. They'll maybe find the root issue, but they will not do the transformation that day. You have to wait another week. Do it another week or two to get that transformation till your next appointment, because they only see you for 1 hour, not us. We take care of everything at once because we do not want you to suffer. That's what rapid transformational does. So what we do is we discuss, we explore everything that's going on with you just before you go under. Figure it out. Then that's what we do. We help you to go in and tackle that anxiety. We open the doors to your personal growth within your mind, and we unlock untapped potential for you. That means you can be incredibly successful in the world of business and in your personal life too, right? Because RTT is developed to overcome to identify all of your previous beliefs that have been holding you back, and that will contribute to your anxiety. We're going to enable individuals to, reframe their perspective on their life and create positive changes for themselves. We essentially are empowering you to become your own superhero, and that's our platform. We empower people to become superheroes. And I believe that 100%. I changed my own life by becoming my own superhero. You can see stories about that everywhere else. I'm not going to go into that right now here, but just a brief short, I had health issues that held me back, which caused lack of belief, anxiety, depression, all of these things. I worked all of that out through using rapid transformational therapy. And now, after 15 years off of work due to illness, I am back thriving and running this company. I now have 7 employees under me after a 1.5 years in, and I'm just getting bigger and bigger. Why? RTT unleashed my brain. Bush. And now I can do anything I want. Now I can succeed. And now, in fact, I can't even take breaks, really. I try to take breaks, but my brain keeps working. It just keeps working. It just keeps wanting to think of more ideas, more fun stuff. And even if it's not work fun stuff, I'm still thinking of adventures I can take. I'm still thinking of fun activities I could do with my dogs, or games I could play with my friends, or something. My brain is just always wanting to exceed my expectations. That's what I trained it to do now. And that's what it's doing. So through guided hypnosis, individuals can access their subconscious mind, and they can, go to those deep-seated belief systems. They can, find those emotional patterns and residues that have been sitting up there, and they can actually clean that stuff out, just like a broom, brooming it out of your mind. That's what we're doing for you. We're going to help you identify and reframe those limiting beliefs. RTT helps individuals to rewrite their internal narratives, right? It's going to empower you to overcome your anxiety, your depression, self-doubt, anything and everything that's holding you back. In my case, I also had PTSD. That's going to help you with that too, right? You're going to embrace a more positive outlook on yourself, on your business life, on your home life. You're going to bring that out everywhere, just like the rock that you throw into the lake. It's a ripple effect. So when you fix your anxiety, every part of your life starts to become better. It just does. So in the realms of the personal life, again, it's going to do profound shifts, right? It's going to be uncovering and reframing past experiences. That's what you're doing. That's what you're doing. So now let's look at the context of business, because we've already talked about personal life. Let's talk about business, guys. RTT therapy offers a competitive advantage for individuals seeking success. Companies who want to improve their bottom line, who want their client or their clients. You can't hypnotize your clients, guys, but you can hypnotize your staff. You can hypnotize your staff to work to your best advantage, to work towards your common goal, to work for success. You can hypnotize them for success. That's what we help you with. So this is going to help them to rid their fear of failure, to rid that self-doubt. It's going to allow them to have greater risk-taking abilities and more innovative ideas as well. They're going to come to you always, every day, with better ideas, growing, because why? Their brain, just like mine, won't shut down. They'll want to grow. They'll want to learn. They will thrive on that, because RTT helps actually reprogram the brain for success. That's what we do. We're reprogramming you to become that superhero, to become that success you know you are worthy of, right? And so by addressing the anxiety's root causes for each and individual within your company, you can actually empower them and promote confidence, resilience, and that entrepreneurial mindset that they all need to move forward. So the result, well, that's enhanced productivity, sharper decision-making for each and every team member. And it's going to be an increased ability to navigate through all of the challenges of the day, right? So you're not going to have staff members who are sitting there overwhelmed, taking days off because of anxiety. You're not going to have that anymore. You're actually going to have a better work environment, which means less anxiety, less days off, less time on breaks, less smoke breaks. All of these things go down because anxiety is down, right? So you get that sharper decision making, that clarity, composure. That's what you need in the workplace, right? And, RTT therapy also equips individuals with invaluable tools for self-care. So if you want to learn stress management, this is your gal. I'll teach you, right? So by understanding the triggers and patterns that fuel anxiety in individuals, you can actually proactively address and neutralize all of the stressors that are leading to that anxiety, which then leads to depression, then leads to blah, 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 right? So once you navigate through all that, you neutralize it all, well, people improve. And RTT ends up fostering self-awareness. It enables these individuals to cultivate that mindfulness, the practices that they need to develop healthy boundaries. And it's going to implement effective stress reduction strategies for them as well, right? So these skills, they not only contribute to personal well-being, but also they're going to enhance productivity. They're going to bring up your creativity within the group itself and overall performance of the business itself. All of this improves when their mindset improves, when stress is gone. So RTT actually represents a transformative approach to addressing that anxiety. It's offering these individuals the opportunity to rewrite their internal narrative so that they can break free from that grip of anxiety, right? And so by overcoming and reframing these deep-seated beliefs and experiences, RTT therapies actually empowers each individual to embrace personal growth. And it starts to unlock their full potential. They become the best version of themselves, quite literally. And guess who gets to benefit from that? Your company. You do. So with RTT as a guiding light, anxiety no longer needs to be an insurmountable barrier for anyone, because it's actually going to become a catalyst for personal growth and professional transformation. You turn it into your strength instead, right? So because anxiety can wreak havoc on business, stifling productivity, hindering decision-making, and hampering innovations is actually what it's actually going to do. We already know this. So the constant state of worry and fear, that's going to lead to a toxic work environment, okay? It's going to impact these employees, their moral values, and also their engagement in the workplace. It's going to cause anxiety-driven performance or perfectionism, and it's going to then in turn bring on avoidance, right? So what happens is people become anxious. They want to be perfect. Well, there's no such thing as perfection, but we get anxious about that. And that anxiety is actually going to lead to people stop working because they can't get it perfect. So why bother? They're going to start avoiding doing tasks, and it's going to run the risk of stunting your business, right? It's going to stunt the business growth, and it's going to limit opportunities for success within that company as well. You're going to lose clients. You're going to lose opportunities for everything if your staff are suffering from anxiety, if you're suffering from anxiety. So individuals and companies actually can benefit greatly from rapid transformational therapy because it's going to help you develop various strategies to reduce stress and promote well-being within the company. So on an individual level, practicing self-care is absolutely crucial. Okay, so make sure you yourself, you're taking care of you. What do I mean by that? Well, you want to reduce your stress levels by exercising every day. You got to get that energy out of your body. And by the way, exercising first thing in the morning actually helps you to do better at work because your oxygen starts moving in your body. And guess what works better when there's oxygen going to it? Duh. So you don't need your coffee in the morning. What you need to do is go for a run or do some yoga, do something exercising to get that oxygen moving in your body. Because in bed, you lie there, you've been stiff, your body's not moving. Move your body. Get the oxygen going. You will feel incredibly better, right? The other things you want to do is maybe meditation. Meditation 5, 10, 15 minutes every single morning and at night if you can manage twice a day. That's incredible for your business and for your life. Because guess what? If you can see it, feel it, think it, believe it in your mouth, you can taste it, it can be yours. You can create it for yourself. That's how you manifest. You have to be able to see it before you can be it, right? And if you can't believe yourself to be it, you'll never become it because you are what you believe. And that's why rapid transformation is so important, because you can help people to get there. That's why meditation is so important, because you can transform your own mind through meditation. See what you want to see. And a lot of people have a hard time meditating. I know they say, well, I've tried. Did you really though? Did you only sit there for 5 or 10 minutes? Your mind kept wandering away? That happens. But guess what? You're supposed to do it for 21 days in a row to form the habit. So keep going. The first day's hard. The second day will be less hard. The third day, even not as hard, right? And if you're having a difficult time with meditation, find an audio to help you, a guided meditation audio to help you. Or what I like to do is I like to chant. So I will find one sentence that I want to chant. Hi, Hashid, how are you? Or Nashid, sorry. My glasses aren't on. Also Anula, hi. I'm having a hard time reading. But guys, what happens when you meditate and you use guided meditation? So I use one sentence. I will say something like, today I'm experiencing great happiness and joy. And that's what I will repeat to myself if I'm feeling depressed that day. Or I will, whatever. I remember I had gone to a guided meditation with a monk, and his guided meditation was about beauty and loving oneself. And so it was repeated that I am enough the way I am. I'm beautiful as I am. I'm perfect just the way I am. stuff like that. Whatever mantra you need, whatever you need to hear, make sure it's positive words, and then freaking repeat it over and over. And eventually your brain's going to go there. Your brain's going to hear it. Because repetition, that's the secret to success, guys. Repetition in every single way. Repetition in action, repetition in words, repetition, repetition, repetition. That's how you get ahead. So you know what? Also, start engaging in hobbies. Having hobbies is important because you don't want to just be about work, and more work. Because guess what? When you work, and more work, it just leads to a sucky poo life, right? And not only that, but you bring that home with you. You bring that home with you, and then you be that work person at home. You need to shut it off. You need to develop some hobbies. You need to have a moment where your brain is not working there. I watch NCIS all the time. I don't know if you guys watch NCIS, but if you see the lead guy Gibbs in NCIS, he has an incredibly stressful job, right? But what does he do when he gets home for his hobby? He builds boats. He builds boats in his basement. That's his hobby, shaving down a boat. It's relaxing, it's calming, he loves it, it's good for him. That's what you need to look at. Find something that will calm your mind. Some people do needle stitch. I do dance. That's my thing. That's what calms me. It doesn't calm everybody. That might give anxiety to some of you guys when I say that. But you know what? I need to get up and dance. I need to get the oxygen moving in my body. And I used to be a competition dancer. So to me, that is normal. That's what I want to do. That's how I do my stress release. Figure out what works for you and do that. Then what I want you to do is set boundaries. What do we mean by boundaries? Well, guys, personal boundaries and work boundaries. Yeah, I do mean that. When you leave work, if you have work that is constantly contacting you, then you set time around when you answer them. You might be able to look at the message. If it's not important, don't answer. That's up to you. Set work boundaries. You can have a conversation with your boss and tell them what work hours you want to work around. Set boundaries with your friends and family as to when and you will be available, what you will and won't accept as far as behavior is concerned, all of these things. It's important because when you don't have your own personal boundaries, all of a sudden what happens is you start to develop stress because you feel like you're being used, walked on, taken advantage of, all of these things, right? And so the idea is to go ahead and set those boundaries. It's just important. Once you start doing that, I said duty. Once you start doing that, you will feel happier in life in all ways, right? All right, so then we also want you to prioritize restful sleep. Here's why. Did you guys know that if you don't get the proper sleep, that your brain actually will not be able to develop or make room and file away all of today's stuff? So if you don't go to bed at the right hour, and by that I mean when the sun goes down, you should be in bed by 9 o'clock, the latest. If you go bed past 9 o'clock, what happens is you're losing that time where your body and mind need to then file away today's stuff, and doesn't get a chance to file it away. And then so what happens is when you wake up tomorrow morning, you still have today's stuff going into tomorrow. And then if you don't get the night's sleep, the proper rest the next night, same bloody thing happens. And I don't mean you have to get 8 hours, doesn't freaking matter when your 8 hours are. No, guys. Your body's on a circadian rhythm. It needs to go to bed and get up with the sun. If you're not doing that, you're screwing yourself. We will have this discussion next week all about sleep and proper sleep habits and why it's important. So we'll get deeper into this. So keep an eye out for that. It's also going to be placed onto our website and all that stuff. So keep an eye out for that information. We're going to talk about that, but get proper sleep. Okay, look into circadian rhythms. We can also, I will post, after this, I will post a sleep questionnaire that you guys can use and figure out what hours are best for you to be sleeping in, because not everybody sleeps or has the right sleep hours for themselves. And then after that, what else do we want you to do? Well, companies can recreate actually a supportive work environment, right? And so by that, we mean that they can create, mental health resources for their staff, right? So by hiring companies like me, like Hypnotherapies here, you can actually offer mental health support to all of your staff so that they will never be struggling. They will always be working at top productivity for you, top-notch employees at all times, always going towards your goals, always happy, always resilient, and, reduce stress within the work environment. So that's what you got to do. You got to provide mental health resources, not only through this, but we can offer cognitive behavioral therapy courses, which each one of them can do. It's just a written thing that they can write out their thoughts and figure it out, why they're hampered by it. It's going to help you. It's going to provide opportunities for skill development within your team. And, you need to do that. You need to also offer developments for your team. I offer team development for mine. All of my staff, if they find programs that are going to help them to grow it, or they're going to help my business get better, by all means, let's buy those programs and learn from them. Let's join them. Let's go to those classes. I do that all the time because why? When a company stays stagnant, when an individual is stagnant, when you stop growing, when you stop learning, you have no more goals. You have nothing to strive for. That leads to death, guys, because that starts to bring in depression, anxiety, and all of these things that you think are outside problems that aren't from that. It's usually because you don't actually have a real goal in your life as well. You need a goal. You need a goal. And so if you have skill development, that means your employees are feeling empowered. They get a chance to use their mind to grow, and then they feel like you're listening to them, right? So now they're feeling heard. Then you've now developed mental health resources, so they have someone they can go to talk to about all of their problems, because you know what? They're not going to come to you. They're not. That might affect their work. Find someone that they can talk to they have to let it go, right? And so that's all going to alleviate stress amongst your staff, right? So that's what you want to do. You want to help them to grow. You want to help them to feel like they have a goal too, and that your goal is their goal. It's a common goal. And you could do that by being empathetic to your staff, by offering them these solutions. Additionally, you can cultivate a positive and inclusive culture that values employees. So, their well-being is important, because their well-being means you get to grow. You get to become successful, because when your staff are happy, they work harder, right? When your staff love what they do, they come to work and they want to implement their ideas as well. They want to grow with you. But if you don't allow them to grow with you, if they're just someone who gets paid, they're going to be the employee that already silently quit. That employee who comes to work just to do the job but never does anything more or less will not do a good job. They just do what needs to be done to get by. And if you have a workforce full of that, you have a company that will never get better. You have a company that will eventually fail, because you'll never grow. And that's true for individuals too. If you only put in the bare minimum, you'll never grow. If you never try to keep growing and learning personally, you will never grow. And in fact, you'll die sooner. Why? Because when your brain stops learning, you have no reason to keep going. Your brain will just give up. It'll give you those reasons, and you'll end up with illnesses. You'll end up with depression. You'll end up with that anxiety and all of that stuff. Why? Because your brain has nothing else to do. You've not given it a goal. You've not given it a place to start working. You need to do that. And it helps to do that with your staff, right? So guys, once you've done all that, it's also important that you actually recognize the achievements of everyone, yourself and of your staff. So what I tell people always to do is get a book and write down your achievements, your daily achievements. So if you're a boss, write down the daily achievements of all of your staff. What did everybody achieve today? Write down individual names of that person who did something really great today. Write it down. Write down what you've done today that's really great, that helped the business to grow. Each individual should be doing that for themselves, because on the bad days, you can look back at that and go, holy crap, I grew. I did something good today. I did something really good. Or I've done something good the past few months. So yeah, I may be stuck now, but look at all the growth I've done up till now, right? And so that's what we want you to do. And so what you do is reinforce that. Always remind yourself of how well you've done. Remind your staff of how well they're doing. So when you're writing it down, when you're writing down every day what you've accomplished for the day, what your business has accomplished that day, what your staff has accomplished that day, share it with the staff. Share it that you're proud of them for what they've done that day. Because when you do that, tomorrow, they're going to be so much more apt and happy and wanting to come to work for you. Tomorrow, they're going to jump out of bed and be excited about work, because they're going to feel good about themselves. So do that. Let them know when they've done a job well done, not only when their work is suffering, not only when they need correction, but definitely when they've done something right. Compliment them. Compliment yourself when you've done something right, because that's what a lot of us don't do. We don't compliment ourselves. We don't celebrate the small wins, and it's very important that you do. So go out and celebrate wins. Celebrate them with your team if you want, once a week, once a month, whatever. And then list off all the great things they've done, that celebration if you want, if you don't want to do it daily. But make a point of telling them, not at the yearly review, but weekly, monthly, always. Tell them how great they're doing. Tell yourself how great you're doing. You have to. Because if you don't, you always feel beat down. That's why anxiety comes in. That's why we hit depression, because we beat ourselves up so much, right? And who's your worst critic? You are. You are. You're your worst critic each and every time. So definitely compliment, you guys. Okay, so not only that, but it's going to, of course, enhance everything in the workplace when you start to do that, because now you're taking time out for yourself. You're taking time out for your staff. You're making things all better. So not only that for management and for everybody, what I want you to also do is create these strategies. Oh, Vanessa says she bought a notebook. Oh, you did buy the notebook. Oh, good, Vanessa. I'm really happy for you. That's good news. Okay, so implementing effective strategies, management strategies, right? So that involves setting realistic goals, right? And breaking tasks into manageable steps. By that, we mean, don't set an hour for a task that you know damn well is going to take 3 hours, right? Don't do that. Don't push yourself. Don't rush yourself. Give yourself the exact amount of time you need. Because when you're rushed, you do a bad job. You overlook things, you make mistakes, and you become anxious. So bad jobs happen. And sometimes people will just end up giving up and procrastinating, and then the job never ever end up getting done because there wasn't enough time to do it. So they push it to they'll push it to the side. Everybody's thumbs upping on this one. I guess we've all experienced that, right? Give yourself the right amount of time, you guys, right? That's very important for businesses to do that too. You don't set your staff up for failure. If you're setting your staff up for failure by not allowing them the right amount of time or the right amount of people to do the job, what you're doing, in fact, is you're impeding the growth of your company. You are, because you're creating anxiety within the workforce. You're creating anger within the workforce, and you're creating a work environment of people who do not want to work for you anymore. That's what you're doing. So actually give people the right amount of time to do their job, and they will do it faster and better for you, especially if you've been complimenting them all the good stuff they do. You've been giving them rewards for the good stuff they do. Guess who's going to do better for you each and every time? Someone who feels good about themselves, someone who's been shown that they are appreciated. That's who. Because the anxiety is gone. They won't have it anymore because they feel good about their life. They feel good about work. It's gone. So, by prioritizing and delegating tasks, that's another way to get on top of stuff. It's going to reduce some stress. So implementing efficient systems and processes for the staff to use so that they can get these tasks done on time, so that they can, get their work done. That's important. So delegate it to the right person. Either you're hiring somebody out for this or you're giving it to somebody, but make sure that they actually know what they're doing, that they're actually right for the job. Or guess who's causing anxiety? You are. You're causing anxiety in the person you just gave it to because they don't know what the frig they're doing. And then it's going to give you bad production at the back end, right? It's not going to be a good product at the back end. So if you want to streamline your workflow and minimize stress-inducing bottlenecks, it's important to make sure that you are delegating the task to the right person and that they are implementing, or that you and them are implementing these efficient systems, right? So again, you want to encourage a culture of collaboration also and teamwork, because that can contribute and distribute the workload around better as well. Because when you show in support of your staff, of their minds, because guess what? You hired them for a reason, not just for, putting tools together. But for the most part, you're hiring them for their minds. Let them support you. Especially after rapid transformational therapy, definitely let them support you, because their minds will be exploding with ideas and new innovative ways to do things, and they just need to share it. And if you don't let them share it with you, they're going to go share it with somebody else, and that somebody else might be your competition. So definitely let your staff share with you whatever it is that they can do, whatever it is they're trying to grow with, whatever it is they have ideas, let them collaborate with you. That's why they're there. It's about teamwork, you guys. It's about teamwork. You can spread the jobs around. I have a great idea. Here's my idea. Let's work together to make this happen, right? That's important. So you can regularly start reviewing and adjusting workloads and deadlines for the team as well and for yourself. Make sure that everything is doable, that you have the right timeline, you have the right staff available to do these things. Promote flexibility and autonomy. I can't say the word. Autonomy. There we go. That was hard. Promoting flexibility and autonomy can empower employees, right, to contribute to a less stressed work environment. Right? So allow them to be individuals, allow them to talk to you and show them who they are. Let them show you where their brain is, what they've got going on up there. Because guess what? I bet you they got some stuff that you could have never even thought of that'll advance your company in crazy great ways. So give it a shot. Okay. And lastly, guys, promoting mindfulness and stress management techniques such as deep breathing and exercising, meditation, stuff like that. That's super, super duper important. Okay, so what you want to do is, first of all, you want to allow your staff to have access to therapy or something along those lines. Then you want to give them breathing techniques and exercises. You want to teach them that stuff. You want to do it yourself if you can. Definitely take this on for yourself. Do some exercising, breathing exercises. I like to use stuff from Wim Hof, because I find that helps me get out of anxiety and stress. But Wim Hof, WIMHOF, that might not work for you. You might want to find some different breathing techniques. And we will make videos in the future about great breathing techniques you can do for anxiety and all of these sorts of things. So that you can, of course, learn different strategies and all of that stuff. So that's very important. Exercise is also important. Actual physical exercise. Guys, your bodies need to move. You need to get that energy and that oxygen moving in each and every muscle. You need to. Because what that does is it actually pushes the oxygen to your brain. And guess what happens when you have oxygen in your brain? You can actually think. You don't need coffee. You don't crash. None of that stuff. Your life becomes easier. So start moving your body. I don't care what you do to move it. Move it. You could go for a walk. But if you go for that walk, I expect you to be rolling your arms like this while you're walking, so that you can get the stretch in those shoulders so that it goes up to your head. Because we're not just exercising legs here, guys. We're trying to get oxygen to your brain. Move the entire body. Get into it. You got to do that. It's exceptionally important that people exercise. And then next, you want to start doing mindfulness meditations. First thing in the morning, guys, first thing you do, even before you have that cup of coffee, even before you do any of that stuff, maybe you want to get up and brush your teeth, take your shower, go straight down and meditate 5 to 15 minutes. Now, I know a lot of you guys are saying, F that meditation, I don't know how to do it. Well, guess what? It's easy-ish. It's easy-ish. Over time, it becomes easy. The first day, it's going to suck hard. It's going to suck real hard. Second day, it's going to suck a little less hard. Third day, it's going to get better. Fourth day, and so on and so on and so on until finally you got it. You got it. It's like anything. You got to practice at it. Okay? So that first day, what I want you to do is not rely on your brain. Not rely on your brain to activate that silent mode and to be able to move off, because you don't know how to do that yet. So on that first day, what I want you to do is I want you to just simply use a mindful meditation audio from somebody else or a chant. So make up your own chant. Whatever you need, whatever needs to reduce the stress. So whatever you need for that day. So if you're looking for abundance, then you put your mindfulness in abundance of whatever. So you could say, I am abundant with your eyes closed. I am abundant with, money and love and friendships and energy and whatever else you need. You could say that on repeat. And then eventually your brain will pick it up and it'll start to believe that, because what you tell your brain, it listens to. And meditation is incredibly important because what you see, what you feel, what you think, what you could taste in your mouth, all of that stuff, which happens through meditation, you can then create. That's what manifestation is. That's how you create it. You have to see it, feel it, believe it, and know it's you before it even gets to come into your life. You get nothing in this world unless you know you deserve it, right? And so that's the fact of life. You're going to get nothing until you know you deserve it. And so mindfulness and meditation is incredibly important. And again, rapid transformational therapy is going to help you with that too, guys. So it'll help you to calm your mind. So if your mind is just like absolutely chaotic, and even with these mindful meditations, you can't, you know, you have somebody else's audio you're listening to and you still can't seem to sit there and hear it, come to me. I will help you get to the root cause of why that's happening, and we will help you shut that brain down from overworking and get it working in your favor instead. That's what we do. So then you want to practice relaxation techniques. They're all different, and you can find them on Google. You can find them everywhere. What are relaxation techniques? They're different for everybody. When I do relaxation techniques, they include breathing, stretching, dancing, stuff like that. That helps me to relax. So it depends on you. We will teach you some of those in future lessons as well, so that you can learn to do all of that stuff as well, guys. Relaxation techniques, they're coming for you. So figure that out. Figure out what works for you and do that, because it's going to impact yourself. It's going to impact your mood. It's going to impact everything about your day, and it's going to impact the company's workload as well, right? You're going to be able to achieve more when you've practiced all of this stuff. So let's just quickly just run these over again, because they're so important. The first one, guys, in order to foster healthier and more productive work environment, you need to have time management done right. Okay, that means do not rush people to get things done. Do not overwork them. Do not overwork yourself. Know how long it takes to do a project and use that time. Do not give yourself too much time. Give yourself the exact time you need to do that project. You know, I need 20 minutes to research. I need 45 minutes to write this out. I need another hour and a half to make the video. Whatever it is you're doing, make sure you know exactly how long it's going to take you to do that, and then allow yourself that time. Because if you rush yourself, you create anxiety. You create anxiety and you create really crappy work. All of a sudden, it won't be as good as it was if you had the right time to do it in. Now, that being said, do not give yourself too much time, because if you give yourself a full 2 days to do a project that takes 3 hours, you actually take that full 2 days to do that project. You waste time. You are unproductive, and then you're going backwards. So only allow yourself the right amount of time. Make a list, schedule yourself. Time management is important. So scheduling is incredibly important. My entire day is scheduled out every single day, every minute of my day, from the second I wake up at 6 a.m. till the second I go to bed at 9:30 p.m. at night. My day is scheduled every single minute. And I've had it all written down, every minute of my day. Yeah, it might suck for people to think that that's a fact, but guess what? I am incredibly productive now, because I can see it all in writing, what I have to do and when I have to do it. Now, does that mean I have to stick to my schedule? No. But it does mean that I know what is expected of me, and it means that I can be responsible and move things around. And this way, I don't suffer stress, because nothing comes creeping up on me. It's all in my schedule. I see it. And then when somebody asks me if I could do something, I don't say, oh, let me think about it, I have to figure it out. I could just say, let me check my schedule. It's right there. I'll just check if I've got the time today and if I could squeeze you in. No anxiety, right? You guys, time management's important. So prioritize your tasks by scheduling things out. Do the most scariest things first. Get rid of that high anxiety stuff. Get rid of that first, so you're not suffering that anxiety all day. Because if you push the stuff that's high anxiety ridden off to the back of the list, what happens is the entire day you're feeling that anxiety as you get closer and closer and closer to having to do that freaking task. Get it done ahead of time. My anxiety lies in calling clients. Actually, not my clients, but prospective clients, or businesses, or companies where I want to advertise, or I want to, maybe for them to do a news story on me or something. I get high anxiety when I do that, but I call those. That's the first thing I'll do, because why? I want to get that anxiety out of my life. If I get it over with, then it's done. Anxiety's over with. It's done. Get that first. So do your to-do list. Create, the balance. Make sure that you put what's important and has deadlines first. Make sure you get that all done. Make sure you're aware of everything, so that you're not being crept up on. The next thing is time blocking. So allocate specific time slots for different tasks. Again, that's scheduling, guys. And include your activities. Include the activities with your friends. I include when I walk my dogs. I include when I'm going to do self-care, like meditation and showering. It's all written down on my list, on my calendar every single day, exactly what goes when. What time I'm eating is also in there. It's scheduled in, how long I have to eat. I don't write down what I want to eat. But you can do that if you want to save yourself time. You can write down what meals. Time block all of your activities, ensuring that there's dedicated focus on absolutely everything. And that way you're avoiding multitasking and you're avoiding multiple things all at once, so that you feel that anxiety because now you messed up. You don't do that anymore because you're on top of yourself. And then you want to minimize distractions. So first of all, identify and minimize what distractions are in your life, right? So maybe it's email notifications. Shut the notification system off so that's not distracting you while you work. Turn your phone ringer off while you work so that you're not being distracted by that. If you have children or dogs, in my case, make sure that they've been active before. So I bring my dogs out for runs before I have to do stuff like this so that they are quiet during my shows. Otherwise, they'd be a problem. If you know that your kids are around that day, make sure that you've set up activities for them to do during the hours that you are busy, and give them those activities. Walk out every hour and give them the activity. Make sure they're doing that activity. Don't just expect them to figure it out for themselves and go find toys. This isn't 1970s and 80s like when I was born, when we would do that stuff. Kids of today don't do that. They don't create their own activities. You need to do it for them. So get out there. Get out there and create activities, guys. There's, YouTube has many activities. Google, you can go on Google. If you have the Canva app, you can create workbook activities for your children there. Find something for they to do and put it in their hands and start it with them before you get to your task. This way, you will not be distracted. You are the one who's in charge of preventing the distractions. You can't expect somebody else to do it for you, okay? So don't expect the people around you to know that you need to study or to focus. Go and tell them, hey guys, for the next hour, please don't bother me. I've got the phones shut off. Do not bother me. This is what we're doing. And here's what you're going to do over there. And this is what we're happening, right? Make sure your social media is turned off. Any unnecessary meetings that are not meant to be happening, avoid. Make sure that you have focus. Minimize all of those distractions that you don't need. Okay, because it's important that you make sure that your work time is your work time. I hear all the time from my clients, oh, this came up, that came up, this came up. But guess what, guys? If you would have just done, like we said above, if you would have just done right away the important stuff, you wouldn't have to do it later. Then it doesn't get put off later because you did this, and this instead. Get it done now. Prioritize your tasks, right? Goal setting. Holy mackerel, that's important. Goal setting, smart goals. S for set specific, measurable, M, achievable, A, R for relevant, and time-bound goals. SMART. Set specific, measurable, accountable, relevant, time-bound goals. Don't overwhelm yourself. Don't overwork yourself. Know what time you need to do everything and make sure it's scheduled. You can make it happen. If it doesn't get done today, you move it on the schedule to the next day so that you don't feel anxious. There are ways to prevent anxiety, and that's by being on top of yourself. That's by making sure that you have everything so that you know that your goals are clear. You know exactly what needs to be done. Everything's clear and anxiety goes away, right? And then break goals into milestones. So divide larger goals into smaller ones, first of all, and then make them manageable milestones so you have something to celebrate, which we were again talking about earlier. Finding things to go out and celebrate with yourself. So every time you've achieved something. So if you set this as a smaller milestone for yourself, instead of the big goal. So the big goal is, I want to create a new, in my case it would be, I want to create a new program for my clients. Okay, well, I'm not going to create that whole program in the day, but today I'm going to do, module 1 of that program. Tomorrow we're going to tackle module 2 of that program. Make myself achievable goals, right? That's what you want to do. And then you want to track your progress so that you can stay motivated. So when you're tracking your progress, what you do, write it down at the end of every day. What did you achieve today? Today I achieved this, A, B, C, D, E, E. And then at the end of the week, go out and freaking celebrate all those achievements. Go out and pat yourself on the back. Pat your staff on the back. Celebrate your achievements. It's incredibly important because that's the next thing, guys. Celebrate the achievements. Acknowledge these milestones. Acknowledge when somebody's done the job well done. Acknowledge when you've done that job well done. It's incredibly important for your self-esteem, for your anxiety levels, for depression, and, well, just for morale. So get her done. And then there's task management, guys. Break your tasks into smaller steps. Always, always, always break everything into smaller steps. Even when I'm making my dinner, I break it into smaller steps. I will do my veggies earlier in the day. I'll cut everything up, get it ready, and then push that to the side because it doesn't matter. They're hard. They could be cut up. Do that. I will prep my meat earlier in the day sometimes to get the spices, the sauces, all that stuff so it marinates. And then that way when it comes time to cooking, I just have to put it in the oven and then do the next steps. So everything's done in steps for me. Even when I do my housework, same thing. One day I'm doing vacuuming of the entire house. The next day I'm doing mopping in bathrooms and kitchen of the entire house. Everything has small attainable goals. If I tried to tackle my entire house in one day, I'd be one freaking miserable woman and I would be exhausted. So why would I do that to myself? Break it into small, manageable tasks. Just like work. Everything with work too. You see a big, big plan, a big goal, a big project just thrown on your desk. Okay, don't tackle the whole damn thing. That's overwhelming. Pick it piece by piece and start. Just like a puzzle. Do the bottom half of your puzzle first. Build in the pieces as you go. Just like a puzzle, right? Okay, so then you want to delegate your tasks, like what we said earlier. You got to make sure you delegate those tasks, guys. Delegate them to the right people. Make sure that they're redistributing the workload and that they're, leveraging individual strengths. If you don't do that, you're losing money in your company. You're losing money on your business and on your work yourself, right? So make sure you're doing that. It's important to utilize all tools and technologies that streamline collaboration as well. So make sure you implement that right workflow system for your staff so that once they do delegate those tasks, they have somewhere to go and do it properly, right? Because you want to have proper task management, time management solutions for your team. And that's done by proper softwares and also communication across platforms. So make sure that you're communicating. Streamline your processes. Identify where the bottlenecks are. Analyze workflows to identify areas where tasks are, or information is getting stuck. Figure that out. Figure out where the delays are happening. With our staff, we have ROIs, right? So every day at the end of the day, my staff tell me what they've accomplished for their day, and I look at their ROI. And, at the end of the month, I assess their ROIs. If they haven't advanced, if they haven't grown, I have to know that that's the staff member that's the problem, right? Because I'm looking at it. You have to have the proper things in place so that you can see what's going on with your business. You should always know the advancements of every day. What your, if you run ads, you should know how effective your ads are. If you're putting up posts, if you're talking to clients, if you have a staff member who's doing phone calls out to clients, how effective are they? You should know how many people are they calling every single day, how many people are turning into sales. You should know these things. You should know your numbers for your company, for whatever it is you're doing. Know it, right? That way you can fix the bottlenecks when they happen, long before they become huge, huge problems, right? So that way you can also do continuous improvement on your company, right? Because when you're keeping track, you can improve. You can improve. And you improve also when you're getting feedback. So encourage the feedback from your employees. Encourage feedback that will identify areas that need process improvements, because you're not actually the one doing the job. They're doing it. So again, they're going to know when something needs to change. So trust them, listen to them. Maybe you can't implement what they want right today, but you can look for a solution for them tomorrow. You could figure it out. It allows you time to pivot. It allows you something to think about. So think about that for yourself and your own business, as well as if you run a business. Make sure that you have the right processes in place so that you aren't stressed out. There are so many AI systems and things available online now. There are zero excuses for someone to feel overworked. Zero. It's easy enough to hire someone on the cheap, and it's easy enough to get systems to do it for you as well. Figure it out. Automation and tools are incredible. ChatGPT is incredible. You can use stuff that are brilliant for whatever it is you need. We teach our students who come in here, our entrepreneur students, we teach them all of the platforms that they can use, all of the apps that they can use that will help them to advance their business. We show them how to use it. We show them how to get ahead, because that's what this is about. You need to grow. And you need to use these automation tools. You need to figure it out. And there's always new ones coming out. So keep up on it, because time is money, guys. Time is money, and businesses are losing money every day because of anxiety, because of people not using the proper tools, which then causes more anxiety. And, this is going to cause more time consuming of tasks if you don't have all the systems in place. So make sure you free up more valuable time for yourself, for your staff, for everybody and your team by making sure all of this stuff is implemented. And if you know what, if you give them RTT therapy, rapid transformational therapy, as a group, brilliant. We could do group hypnosis for everybody, get them all rid of their anxiety, get them all working towards that same goal so that everybody is success driven. You don't have one, bad apple in the group because they're all ready to work for you. And the same goes for yourself. If you're the entrepreneur, why would you let yourself be the bad apple? It's time to change whatever is going on with you. And now's the time. We have links somewhere. Now's the time, guys. If you want to change your life, if you're riddled with anxiety, there are ways to do it on your own, or you can come and do it the quicker, easier way, which is rapid transformational therapy. We can have your anxiety gone within that first month, because it does take a month to change your habit. So the habit starts to change within the first 24 hours, but by the end of that month, you've rid yourself of that issue. It's gone. So take a chance on you today. It's time. Take a chance on your company today. It's time. If you want to see great advancements, if you want to, make more money, have a better life, if you just want to live a day where you're not anxiety riddled, come here. We're going to help you guys. All right, I'm getting off this call. I've been on forever and ever. Amen. And we'll see you all later, guys. Bye. Later, guys. Bye.